Welcome to Chaotic Combos. This is episode one, long overdue. Had some technical things to work through. Still got some technical things to work through as Chaos Wrestling's camera shit the bed this morning. So the quality of the cameras and stuff will obviously be addressed in later issues. We just wanted to start this episode off and kind of give you a little backstory on us, how we started, what led to Chaotic Convos, and all that good stuff. So hopefully you guys will stick along for the ride. So Jason.
What's that on, dude?
So how did you get into doing what you do? How did you get into Chaos Wrestling? And did it always start as Chaos Wrestling?
So yeah, I obviously love the KK. My nickname, I think I got my nickname Kid Chaos when I was like 13 or something. And prior to getting back into wrestling pre AEW, I had fallen out a little the PG era. You know, everybody knows how the PG era went. So I had fallen out a little, but I was making big people regular shirts for people on my little Cricut or whatever, just doing the little grind. Kind of fell out of that, but then when I got the job at my current job at the print shop, started buying figures again. AEW popped off. I was like, this is great. I'm back. Bought all these figures. Started my little NWO shelf and Bullet Club shelf, and I went to buy. I needed some shirts, obviously, for them, so I got on the groups and I was like, "Hey, who's got shirts?" Everybody was like, "Go to this guy." Blah blah blah. They were like $15 a pop, and I was like, "I have all the toys to do this," so I was like, "I'm just gonna try to make my own," and then taught myself kind of how to sew. Printed out some logos, pressed them on some shirts, and the rest is history. Started snowballing.
So you just get like a template for like different body styles and just kind of work on that?
Yeah, I watched a video on YouTube, obviously, and just saw how this dude made his. He just kind of laid his figure on some fabric, drew a chalk line around it, cut it out, sewed it by hand, blah blah blah. And that's how we initially started. And my first couple of shirts, they fallen apart on the sides and stuff. So that's when I was like, we'll get the sewing machine. I didn't know how to sew, but I can't really sew. I can sew a straight line because that's all I got to do for just up the sides and arms and whatever. But then, yeah.
And shit, and now here we are with the shirts. And when did you start branching out into other things like accessories and belts and stuff like that?
So in the midst of all of it, obviously I'm a huge nerd, love it all. Turtles, Power Rangers, wrestling. My roommate got me into Warhammer. So Warhammer, it was cool. I loved the art of Warhammer more than the game. So I loved like clipping, gluing, building, painting, making your own army, whatnot. And he bought a filament printer, a 3D filament printer, started making terrain and stuff, and we started printing our own like little unique minis. And then from there, it kind of branched. The little light bulb went off, and I was like, wow, these 3D printers are fucking cool. We could it's the way of the future. So obviously saw some stuff on Instagram, other people doing other things, and I was like, hey, I'm kind of savvy with design. I kind of play around with design a little bit too. So I was like, let me get my feet wet in this. Did a little bit of research, saw like resin printers are super, precise, very detailed. So jumped in. He actually got the 3D resin printer first for his minis. So I got to play with his a little, got comfortable with it, found the 4K printer, and then, bought some belt files, started raising some stuff, and then, like we say, the rest is just snowballing.
So it sounds like you kind of did the similar thing that I did, was kind of like spy on other people and take elements from like other people and how
Oh,
they
for
do
sure.
their things. Yeah,
For sure.
kind
The
of
best artists steal, you know?
the pirate mentality, bro.
Yeah. Take what you
Pirate
can.
mentality. So yeah, I think and I think it was, man, I'm trying to think of how many followers we had when we met. I think you had like 40 and
Maybe
I
like,
had
yeah,
like
I was going
maybe
to say
50.
maybe not even 100. Yeah.
Yeah, not even, yeah, well under 100 for both of us too. Um, I know I've said this before, but I started because um, I was watching like a lot of YouTube, like MDT and stuff like that, and like just it started with like fix ups, like how to put like parts from one figure onto another figure without like painting or changing anything, just like a head swap or like an
Swaps.
arm swaps, yeah, swap overs and stuff. And it was learning how to do that. um and that just came from me like googling or YouTubing how to swap wrestler parts or wrestler figure parts. And obviously due to the size of his channel, he was one of the first people that popped up for how to do it. So I was watching his videos on how to do like certain swaps, and he had like, to give him credit, he had really good ideas for a lot of his fix ups. So I was like, oh, that actually looks kind of cool. So it started there, and then he would do like unboxings where he would get customs from like customizers on Instagram and stuff like that. And I didn't even have an Instagram, bro. So I was like, man, these are sick. Like some of the ones he was getting were fucking fire. So I was like, damn, these are fucking cool, bro. Who the fuck is doing these? So I would go back and watch those videos, and he would shout the guys out like at da 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 on Instagram. So I was like, fuck it, and I made an Instagram, and I I had no followers, like 3 posts, and none of them were customs. Obviously I wasn't doing that. So I was in like a nothing brand new page and messaged these guys, and I was like, hey, look, I'm new to Instagram, but I have money. Money's not an issue right now, but I'm trying to figure out what it would cost to get one of these customs made. And I don't want to name drop, but I can. But there was probably like 3 dudes. It was like 3 main guys that are like top of the food chain, considered, in the custom community that I hit up. And they were either like rude or just straight up told me that I was going to have to wait like months, or their commissions were closed, and they were just kind of snippy with me. So I was like, man, fuck these guys, dude. Like, and it kind of came from that, like, what a pretentious dick, to
Yes.
have that like holier than thou, and like you're not even worth my fucking time to even tell you, like, point me in the right direction or something, but no. And so I kind of took that personally. And so I was like, fuck them, dude. Like, I'll just do it myself. Like you said, man, like, fuck that. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what I was doing. I had never painted on plastic figures before, but I was like artsy growing up. So I looked at all the people that those guys, those 3 like big ones, I looked at the people that were following them and the people that they were following, and kind of like spotted the artists, and realized that it was a lot more people than just like these 3 or 4 guys that were doing it and offering commissions too. So I was like, huh. And I started kind of spying on their pictures and finding out what kinds of paints they used or that were in the backgrounds, and what kinds of like brushes they were using, and stuff like that for their skins and their hair and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I started. And my goal when I started, because I wanted a custom mortise that was like, if I'm trying to get a hold of these guys to make me a custom mortise. That was the gimmick.
I
So
can
I
see
told
him back
myself,
there.
yeah, bro. So I told myself when I started, I was like, I'm just gonna get good enough to make a mortise, and then once I feel like I'm comfortable enough and good enough to make one, I'll just stop, because I really won't have a reason to keep doing it. Because the reason I started was to make it. So yeah, I just kind of spied on everybody else's stuff and started ordering the paints that I saw them use, and ordering the brushes I saw them use, and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I came to be. And I just kept posting and posting and getting like 10 likes, 12 likes, nothing. And eventually I posted something. I think it was a Preston Vance, and Hederation featured it. And then people started hitting me up like, hey, is this for sale? How much would you charge for this? Is this for sale? So that's kind of how I got into the game. And then, like I said, somewhere way back on the and when we were low on the totem pole is when I came across Chaos. For that reason, it was because he was offering shirts that he had just was still tweaking, and they were a good price, and everybody else was kind of a dick. So I hit him up, and he wasn't a dick, and he was kind of cool about it.
Same.
So here we are.
All I wanted was, I just wanted to make 10 shirts for my NWO shelf and 10 shirts from a Bullet Club shelf. And then I, posted a few here and there, and then everybody's like, "Hey, what's up?
Hey,
what's
how
up?
much?
What's up?" Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Just wanted to take a quick commercial break to say that if you aren't already following ItFigures 89 or Chaos Wrestling Club, please go do that now. Give us a like on all of our pictures, or whichever ones you think are cool. Let us know which ones you think are lame. We'll change them, maybe not. But yeah, just a little commercial break to say go give us a follow. Thanks, guys. We were talking earlier about like famous people's alcohol for some reason, because I'm not a big drinker, but we did get a little influence before pod, so that way we would shake the nerves, shake the cobwebs a little bit, and we were talking about famous people's alcohol, and I'm not a huge drinker. I had an accident happen when I was 19, so I'm not a huge drinker anymore, but I do have some crazy drink stories, and I'll go ahead and get into one of those for the pod before we jump into some more wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with wrestling, but I did kind of want to share a funny story. So the reason that part of the reason I'm not a big drinker anymore is when I was young, I had a best friend, and for the purposes of everything, we'll call him Arab. It's his nickname. He's not Arab for racial reasons. You guys don't think I'm hating or profiling anybody. His name was Aaron. I just didn't want to call him Aaron. Arab. My best friend Arab had met a guy when he moved away named Flick at a rock show. Now Flick was a 6'7", 270-pound guy, white dude. Bald head, big long braided goatee, just like a straight metalhead, right? Like straight skinhead to the max, bro. Dude looked like he could kill you with a newspaper, and he learned it from prison or something. But no tats. Dude was just straight up skinhead, loved metal. And so he brought Flick over to my house once, and we introduced ourselves. Real polite guy, cool dude. But Flick I noticed he had some scarring going on his cheeks, like slash marks, almost like a Wolverine got a hold of him, or maybe like an angry baby mama or something. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, man. And I didn't know if he accidentally when it said don't feed the animals, maybe he fed the animals and found out. I don't know, man. I wasn't sure, judging by the look of him, I wasn't sure if I wanted to know the story, if I wanted to dive into that anime or not. But it might have been a risky business asking a guy like that. Because if you haven't noticed, I'm not 6'7" and 270 pounds. So I wasn't sure if getting personal with this guy and asking him what the fuck was wrong with his face was a good intro, a good way to break the ice. So I gave it a little while. I didn't ask him about his face. We just kind of hung out. And he really liked Four Loko. And by really liked, what I mean is me and this guy went to a wholesale store down south they have called Sam's. And it's it's a wholesale place you go and get, things in bulk. And we go to Sam's Club, and he would get a pallet, dude, of Four Loko lemonade.
Jesus.
This was one of the OG flavors, right? It was lemonade, watermelon, which is godforsaken watermelon, and then some other flavors, fruit punch or whatever. But lemonade was one of the OGs, and he would go and get a pallet of it. Now a pallet is 12 cases of 24.
12 24s, yep.
12 24s. So, I'm terrible at math. I think that's about almost 300 cans.
Yeah, something like that.
If my math is right, it's almost 300 cans of Four Loko. And we spent a summer vacation doing just getting hammered off of lemonade Four Lokos, right? and just hanging out and jamming because he was in a local band called Hell Yeah. And if anybody from the Northeast Florida is listening to this and knows Hell Yeah, all caps, one word, give Flick a shout out for me. I'd like to get back in touch with that guy. But anyway, so me and Arab had invited a girl he was talking to at the time to a Lamb of God concert, and I wasn't a big metal guy. I didn't really listen to metal at the time. So he was gonna take this girl to a Lamb of God concert. She flaked on him, and he was gonna have Flick drive him. So he asked me, "Hey, bro, do you want to go to the Lamb of God concert?" And I want to be there for my bro, and I know he was kind of down about the girl thing. So I was like, yeah, bro, I'll go with you to this Lamb of God concert. So Flick drives us to this concert. Now, this is where it gets interesting because this is where I find out without having to ask what the fuck was up with Flick's face. So Flick picks us up in his little S10 single cab. It's like a 92. His mom had a Geo Metro, a 96, and that's where I met this guy in. He crawled out of a 96 Geo Metro. If you guys know what a Geo Metro is, you know, dude, yeah. So, but his truck was he had a little single cab S10. So he picks us up. We're three grown men in an S10, and we're singing along, bebopping our way to this concert, like the fucking Mickey Mouse Club. And about halfway there, we stop at a gas station, load up on like, you know, things we'll need like cigarettes. We get some more Four Loko. We'll Flick get some more Four Loko, cigarettes and stuff like that, chips. We're hanging out, getting some Slim Jims or whatever, enjoying our time. Just dudes being bros, men being boys, just fucking bros being dudes. And Flick gets in the car, back in the truck, and before he starts it to go drive off, he starts cutting his face with razor blades. Like just cutting his face up, bro, with razor blades.
Like the Joker.
No, not like from corner of his mouth. I'm talking about like from under his eyes all the way down to his jawbone. Just just straight horizontal slice marks, bro, like war paint. And he would cut his cheeks up and then smear it all over his face like war paint, dude. And it was how he psyched himself up for metal shows, and that's why he had so many. Yeah, bro, he was that guy. He was hardcore as shit, bro. It was like he was the most hardcore dude I've ever met, man. And he would do this shit as like a ritual, like a pre-ritualistic concert thing, man, where he would just get into the zone and cut his face up and smear it all over his face, and then go to these metal shows. So I'm witnessing this all firsthand, bro. I'm witnessing this dude's like tribalistic, primal pre-show ritual thing going on, man. And I feel like I'm a part of a fucking cult. And so we get to the show, and I've never, like I said, I'm not a metal guy. I've never been to a metal show. I don't know any of the songs or what they're called or how they go. So I didn't know shit about this band, but I'm there for the vibes, bro. I'm there to be a bro. So Flick shows up, and we show our tickets. And Flick's face is all bloodied up, and no one bats an eye. All right, that's how I knew this place was gonna be fucking nuts. No one batted an eye at Flick, right? He blended right in, and I was like, this is gonna be fucking nuts. This is gonna be some goofy movie type shit. So I get in there, and it's like an indoor arena style thing, man. And we're on the floor. It's all ground level. There are no stands or whatever. It's all one floor, one ground level, like a coliseum type thing or auditorium type thing. And so it's all one level, and everybody's on the floor, okay, except for the band. So we're on like a far one side. You know, when you walk in, you're looking at the stage. We were kind of off on the right side of the auditorium,
right?
And that's where we settled in for most of the show. Okay, so then everything's going all right. Flick is bleeding all over me and everyone else near him because he's sweating now, and the blood is thinning, and now it's flying everywhere. When he is shaking his head, and his sweat's flying, his blood's mixed in with it, and his blood's flying, and everybody else's blood's fucking flying. It's metal as shit, right? Well, this one song comes on, man, and like they start off slow, I guess, and there's a part that they do at their concerts. It's illegal at the time. It was illegal in 7 states, and it's called The Wall, and it's where the crowd splits in half.
I've done one of these.
Like the Red Sea, yeah, bro. And right when they hit the heavy part, the two sides just collide, like
fucking Troy.
Sort of Spartan shit, yeah. Dude, like some Spartan shit, dude. And I didn't know that. So it come to find out when the song was on and everybody knew what time it was. Everybody, meaning everyone except me, knew what time it was, and they split the Red Sea. I was kind of on the edge, bro, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know to get back as close to the fucking physical brick and mortar wall as you can, because I'm little. So like,
You just
so
stand in the
Flick,
middle.
bro, yeah, and Flick just reaches down, bro, and like palms my whole back, and he grabbed my shirt, and he was just like, "Follow me, bro," and I was like, "Uh-huh." So the fucking beat drops, dude, and these people like clash together. And so all I did is I just kind of like brought my hands together like this and jumped and kind of leaned into it, dude. And I started ping ponging off of people like a fucking pinball machine. And by the time I had ponged off the first like ping, it was like the second person I bounced off of. I fucking look up and over. I kind of stand on my tippy toes and look up, and Flick had grabbed, he put his hands behind his neck and was just like rolling elbows and mowing people down, bro. And he was already almost to the other side of the building. And he left like a wake of bodies in his trail, dude. He was mowing everybody with these elbows, bro. I just watched him like he was rowing a canoe, but it was just elbows, and he was taking them to kids, girls, dudes, like old
Yeah.
people, young people. It didn't matter, bro. Like you were getting mowed, bro, if you were dumb enough to be in his way. So like he just took offense to it. So so this one girl wound up getting like half her clothes ripped off, and she got beat up pretty bad, like in the midst of it all. But she was pretty metal about it. And so we get home that night, and we pull up to my buddy JJ's house, and Flick left, and Arab left, and it's just me and JJ. We got extremely drunk, and I got hit by a car trying to walk home that night and left for dead in a ditch. Yeah, the guy that hit me was driving a Lexus, and his name, I'll never forget his name. Like first, middle, and last, his name was Jack Daniel Roberts. Only in the South, bro.
Douchebag.
Yeah. So I sued the shit out of that guy.
Fuck yeah.
But that's kind of why I don't drink so much anymore.
Fuck
It's a
yeah.
funny story.
Hey, well, cheers to that.
Yeah, straight up cheers to that. So yeah, funny story with Tommy Time. That was pretty. Why I don't drink.
Dude, I got some hardcore. I know a few hardcore kids too. That's a different breed, dude. Like,
man, that guy, like I said, man, when I saw him when we're in the parking lot of a fucking like Chevron, and he just started gutting his face up, dude. I was just.
I know kids. I know a kid who's just like, if you're sitting in the living room with him, he won't say a fucking word. But if he gets in that pit, it's like, dude, he's like God. Yeah, those kids are crazy. That's a different breed.
He was already not somebody I would want to ever fuck with or cross in the wrong way on any given day anyway. But like, yeah, when he started slicing his face up and smearing it all over his face like this kind of war paint, and he stopped talking and cut his face up all like that, and he stopped talking, and he put the radio on like super loud and just didn't talk the rest of the way there.
Love it.
Yeah, I knew he had fucking
game time
into his final form.
Yeah, game time.
Yeah, straight up, he had evolved into like a Charizard, bro. He went from Charmander straight to Charizard, bro. Like something that you didn't really want to fuck with to begin with, to something that would like just shake you, bro. And he like I said, he just palmed me halfway through the show when everything was getting real, and he was just like, "Follow me," and I tried, bro. I tried to like, dude. If I tried, man. And if I would have done it successfully, I would have had to just step on people, bro. Just like walk across bodies behind him, because he was really mowing people over, dog. It was the gnarliest thing I ever saw.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm like, dude, I stay away from it, but I've seen my buddy Josh is the same way. It's just like something clicks and he turns into a fucking killer. And he's just like, get out of his way, he's a lawnmower. Yeah.
Man, it was wild, bro. He was like a human bulldozer.
Love those guys.
Yeah, it was just like he was in a daycare, just like mad about shit. And he was just fucking mowing people over, dude. He didn't care. But yeah, so let's get back into some more wrestling stuff. I wanted to, since
Yeah.
we're so opinionated about it, I wanted to kind of get into Extreme Rules and talk about maybe some
Yes.
theories and some opinions
Extreme
on
Rules
Extreme
last
Rules.
night. I loved it. I thought it was probably an 8, 7.5. I'd give it
I would
like a
say
seven and
eight.
a half.
I
Yeah.
would say
I
eight.
mean,
Yeah.
obviously the pop at the end was like the cherry on top. It would have been a 6 if not that pop at the
They
end. But
handled
yeah.
that so beautifully, bro. Like the
Yeah.
details of that return was
I mean,
very
that's just
nice.
Bray Wyatt. Like, yeah, that's just Bray. He's the best wrestling mind in the game right now. He knows exactly what the fuck he's doing, exactly when time to hit it. Like, yeah, it was almost like you said, it was almost perfect.
Yeah, it really was, and like nobody spoiled it, and they kind of, because we talked before the pay-per-view, and I said, look, there's no one else that could step into those shoes. You know what I mean, with this whole White Rabbit thing and being that, leading someone down a rabbit hole, pun intended. Um, but just that kind of mind games and psychological puzzles and stuff like that. Like it can't be anybody else. If it was anybody else,
Well,
it
I
doesn't
like,
matter if it was Michael Jordan, they'd get booed out of the building. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's true. That's
It doesn't
100%
matter.
true. And I didn't like it last night, but sleeping on it now that I do like it, because I think you and I discussed it. Will and I definitely had like multiple discussions on who he was going to run in on,
Right.
who is he going to
Right. And
eat
that was the
first,
thing.
blah blah blah. But the way that they didn't do a run in, which is like one of the first debut not run ins in I can't remember how long. That was cool. That was like super cool because obviously I thought it was going to be Cross because I thought the whole White Rabbit thing was who he was going to eat. Bray's not the White Rabbit. Bray's the big bad wolf.
Right.
So I thought he was going to run in on the strap match and debut, and then they roll the credits. I scream, "Fuck WWE!" The Fireflies come out, and I pop bigger than I've popped in 2 years.
That was all by design.
Yeah,
All by
100%,
I love
100%.
it.
Triple H is fucking back, baby.
I think Liv losing kind of put a little hurting on my feelings.
Hated it.
Yeah, not gonna lie about that.
Liv's the best.
Keeping that a Benjamin, that's that one kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
I like the whole face heel balance though, because when I was going through, I was like kind of recapping, and I was like, damn, only heels won tonight. But then I was like, no, because Riddle won, and then
it's weird because like Liv won in a weird way. Like she didn't tap, she passed out, but she passed out smiling.
Yeah, well, Harley.
Like in her Joker gear.
Yeah.
So.
I love Liv.
I love it, bro. I love it.
And they put on a hell of a match. She put on a hell of a match. The table spot was great.
Liv has gotten so good these last, like I'd say, 2 years since the pandemic. She's gotten so good, dude.
For sure.
And it was another weird decision because Ronda's already established. I get that she's been back for long enough that she's like, all right, it's time for me to get my damn belt. And I get that they wanted Liv to have something, like they wanted her to be in the books as a SmackDown Women's Champion.
Can't be forever not champ. Yeah, she's too big to not be champ.
Right, but it's Ronda Rousey, and you know what I mean. She's an established badass. She doesn't.
And Ronda's too big not to be champ. Exactly. It was a tough spot. The Belair match surprised me. I thought for sure Bayley was going to win that. For sure, especially with the run-in.
Whooped her ass, bro. Bianca whooped that ass.
Yeah, she did a double.
Like, didn't just win. She did
a double KO.
Ass.
She did a double KO on Dakota. Yeah, that was fucking dope. It was a great pay-per-view, and with Roman top guy not being there, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's how you book a good pay-per-view without your main top dollar draw.
Yeah. You bring in the other one.
You literally let everyone else just shine.
And then the Riddle match, man. That the fight pit.
Dude, DC being there was so huge. Good.
Yeah, that was cool. And when he kind of choked Seth out too, he was like, "Hey, you don't touch me. I'm the blah blah. I'm the ref. I was like, oh, okay. Hey, Seth, just punch him in the face.
I'm telling you right now, bro. DC would have chopped Seth's ass up and handed it to him on a platter and made him eat it. And
yes and no. I mean, DC had a little belly on him now. He ain't been training in a while. I know
a belly, dog.
He can still fight.
He's always
Seth freaking Rollins
been kind of a beer belly guy.
And the RVD gimmick, dude. Loved the RVD.
Daniel Cormier could pin Seth to the ground and put his dick in his mouth just because.
Yeah, well, duh.
He's a nice guy, and there's nothing Seth can do about it.
But if Seth hit the stomp in the pedigree, then it's game time.
Hit the stomp in the pedigree, bro. DC is done. He ain't gonna no sell that. He ain't no selling that one, baby.
That's what I'm saying.
That's coming from the man.
But yeah, so good, dude. The riddle spot from the top. I think Seth broke his ribs. Like, loved it. First fight pit match I've seen. I didn't watch him in NXT.
Proton, whatever it was. It was fire, bro. It was fire.
But yeah, really good. AEW's got to respond because yeah, it's game time.
Yeah, they're gonna have to address that at some point and learn their fucking booking, dude, because their booking is ass. They know it's ass.
It's getting better. The Acclaimed are champs, so it's getting better.
That's like one of the best things about AEW going right now with the Bucks out, Kenny out, and Punk doing his crybaby thing. Like, the best thing going right now is the Acclaimed.
Well, their promo on Wednesday was one of the best promos I've heard in a really long time, with the podium and like National Scissoring Day, and it's not red and it's not blue. It's everybody looks good in pink. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. Like, yeah, that was just good shit. And he said we're homegrown. I loved that shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was one of the best promos, and Billy just sat there and let them say their thing and came in with the daddy ass.
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
Speaking of, the DX25's coming up this week.
One of the new. Oh, I saw that, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Love DX.
Can't
Can't wait. Get the boys back together.
Think you can tell us what to do? I love it, bro. So yeah, I think episode 1. I think we've got enough content. We've covered some bases. We've covered.
Let's get into what you're working on. Let's get into what you're working on before we leave.
How we met.
What are you working on?
I have had some. How am I going to put this for the pod? I had some supplier issues.
Oh, there it is.
And so I had some supplier delays and issues with a certain supplier.
Top guy.
So I'm waiting. Yeah, certain top guy. Gotta love top guy. So I'm waiting on 2 Christopher Daniels heads that I have to paint up. Both TNA era Christopher Daniels. One with the facial hair and one clean shaven CD. And then I have a Roosh coming as well, and another hook that I have to complete, along with another Danhausen.
So fire. And you made me. What'd you make me? Alan? Yeah. That's
it. Hey, I'm gonna let you drop that if you want, but I will go ahead and tell everybody what they are.
Spill it.
An Allen Angels, a Preston Vance,
shit's mint,
and another 2 sweet Jay White. Switchblade. It's Switchblade era, baby. You know.
It's good shit.
You know. Jay White is good shit. So yeah, we got the filling in the blanks on the Dark Order and Jay White for the Helmy. But I'm gonna let the Helmy drop that on his own dime.
Can't wait. Hopefully next episode, I'll have my video up. I'm going to try to put my little display in the back, just like my Tommy boy here.
Next episode's Tommy Crazy Story, we'll get into why I don't like emus, and they scare me. We'll get into that next time.
We're going to have a guest next time, too. I'm not sure who. We have a few people in the crosshairs, but we're just going to line up some schedules, try to get a guest in here, a top customizer. And just bring you guys more tips and tricks. Hopefully, spread some knowledge and let you guys get into our world of customizing. Yeah.
Collecting and customizing and providing for the people. That's what
what
we're
it
here
is,
for.
baby.
So again, if you are not following ItFigures 89 or Chaos Wrestling Club, go ahead and do that now. See what we're about. That way we don't have to explain it. You can see what we're talking about. Yeah, go ahead and do that, and stay tuned for more chaotic convos.
Oh yeah, brother.